Thank you very much, Father Franz, for this very inspiring research on Hosea and Jonah. And this is actually also part of our research of the Macau Ricci Institute, how Christian faith taking root in different cultures, but especially in the Chinese culture. So therefore, we thought we need somebody who can challenge our guru, so to speak, from the Chinese kind of side. We've searched a long time to find Professor Andrew Long. I just also really want to express our gratitude to those among you, especially Professor Thomas Tsai, Father Gregory, and Professor Andrew Long, to help us in this, the most difficult task, to translate these terms into Chinese. So therefore, before we go into Q&A, I would like to ask Professor Andrew Long to give your feedback. You can take so to this wonderful reflection from Professor Franz, especially also from the attempt and your help to give appropriate translation also of these key terms into Chinese.
Thank you very much. Yes, Father Rothland, for the invitation, and Father Franz, thank you very much for this stimulating reflections. If I may, I would try to reserve the translation thing to the end. Just to comment something. First, historical note. Carneiro was not the first Bishop of Macau. Yes, he was appointed the first Bishop of Macau. He was never ordained the Bishop of Macau. He was made apostolic administrator. Later on, he was ordained Archbishop of Goa, and the ordination was performed, but then unfortunately he died before he set sail to Goa. Good. So let's come back here. Certainly, probably during Lent, it's the idea of how to implant a practice and attitude of mercy is certainly of paramount importance. But I'm wondering. I'm always this, you see, new generation of scholars, we try to find new angles to read the biblical text. I'm wondering, like when I was listening to Father Franz's presentation, I was also rereading the book of Jonah. I was wondering, probably I would not doubt that Jonah was on his way learning to be merciful, but I'm wondering whether he, at the end of the book, has reached the journey of becoming a merciful one. As Father Franz just now wanted us to hear again the end of the book. Apparently, Jonah, even at the end, he was puzzled. Why would God do it? Why would God allow these national enemies of ours, those who devastated Ephraim? Yes, exactly. Those, the Assyrians, those who at the end of the day destroyed Ephraim, whom God so loved, according to him in the book of Hosea. And we have the 10 tribes forever lost up until today. And he couldn't accept it. And of course it is, and as Father Franz rightly said, yet we have this universalistic view here towards Nineveh, and it is expressed by God, not by Jonah. Probably, I believe we can learn more, approaching gradually to be a more merciful person. I wonder whether it is a valid perspective. Learning from Jonah, not only from what he does, but what he fails to do. Right? It is exactly, I believe, God's challenge to Jonah and to all of us. Right? Where is it? First, at the end of the book of Jonah, then the Lord said, You are concerned about the bush. Why? Because the bush was giving him comfort, you see, shading him from the sun. Yet for which you did not labor and which you did not grow. It came into being in the night and perished in the night. And I should not be concerned about Nineveh, yes, about which Jonah seems still having a grudge against. Yeah, why save them? Why save them? Yeah. This is certainly something probably Father Franz brought to our awareness, and we probably should continue. You see, it's very easy to show mercy to someone who has shown us mercy. That's probably a very good decision for Father Franz to also bring up the parable of the Good Samaritan. It's very easy for us to show mercy to those who have already shown mercy to us. But what about those who otherwise, on the opposite, who has shown us hatred, who has shown us violence? Yes, probably that is a very difficult lesson to learn. To learn, really, probably it is a task for life, probably. So that is what I would. It's my own reaction to the entire meditation. But I'm also wondering, just try to push the challenge a bit, probably too much, but I'm just trying to do this. If scholars are right that the book of Jonah was written in the 4th and 3rd century BC. Clearly by then, Nineveh was gone. Was gone. Even Babylon was gone. How then are we to appropriate the image of this merciful God who was and still is believed to be the master of history, who said that Nineveh could be saved, but at the end of the day, in history is gone. Of course, this can be mutatis mutandis be applied to the case of Hosea, but it would be even more edgy in that case. So I'm just wondering whether we could explore a little bit that area. If I may. Thank you.
Would you react? Because I'm also feel all honored that also Father Gomez is here, who is profusely cited. And I also want to kind of a key quote from you is in the article, mercy is deeply connected with charity, the form of all virtue, their mother and coordinator. And in the also angelic doctor, mercy is simply defined compassion over the misery of another. So maybe give you also a chance if you want to share some on this, reacting to also Andrew and Father Franz, please.
Well, thank you very much, but I was not prepared for that. But one word that you said, 2 words, no? You said compassion and forgiveness. So mercy, for instance, for St. Thomas, mercy, compassion is an effect of charity with peace and joy. And then this mercy is 2 things. From a moral, spiritual perspective, 2 things. Is first, almsgiving. But not almsgiving as just giving alms. No, it's almsgiving as justice plus love. And then the other is, that comes out from the fathers of the church, especially from Isidore of Seville, was the one who said this verse, that we all can be merciful. Even those who have no money or nothing, we can give something, all of us, the poor also, forgiveness. Forgiveness. That is, for me, that is a very important thing, connecting mercy with forgiveness. And St. Augustine would say that, but not in clear words as St. Isidore, 7th century, St. Isidore of Seville. So, and it is very important also what you said, I think, of John Paul II, no? About that he makes 2, but John Paul II also intertwines 2 things, justice and forgiveness. Because really the soul of true justice, fraternal justice, the justice of Jesus, is a justice that is compassionate. St. Thomas put justice liberality under justice. Liberality is already a sort of opening to others and giving them something. No? So for St. Thomas and for the great theologians, St. Bonaventure, St. Augustine, mercy is really to feel the misery of another and do something about it. Because many of us feel that. No, I feel sorry for the children for the Hamas and the war there. Or see the spirit of the children now, this disproportionate answer of Israel. No, and okay, but can I do something about it? Otherwise, it's not real mercy. At least I have to pray. At least I can make some sacrifices. At least I can voice out what is evil and what is not evil. Today, there's too much politically correct and everything is okay. But evil continues to be evil. And as Jean Paul II said, we have to be able to have the courage to say what is evil and what is not. And that is part of justice, love, compassion. But I think all of you know this, so I'm sorry, but that is more or less what happens to my mind now. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. So we open the floor. We're also very happy that we have here many students here, so please feel free to challenge either Father Franz or our Professor Andrew or the Fausto who reflected so much on these questions. And we also, of course, we are very warmly also welcome our online participants. Thank you for joining us also online, and please.
My heart is overwhelmed. My pity is stirred. You quoted that. It's from God's side, God's divine heart, moved, touched. So my question is, why the people of Nineveh, including the animals, they repented, putting on sackcloth and so on. What drove them to this conversion of heart? Was it grace working, moving them, people and animals and so on? This is my first question. The second one would be mercy and forgiveness, redemption. I think, unless we experience God's mercy and forgiveness, each one of us individually, it is hard to turn back to God. Unless I experience, for example, Christ's forgiveness, it is hard for me to forgive myself or others. The second point, yes, it's not a question, yeah.
Just to the first point about the Nineveh, people in Nineveh, why they, I think what I know from the commentaries, or maybe Professor Leong is here much more expert, that the obedience, so they trust the word of Jonah in these 5 words only, and then change. But there must be also an insight that this bloody, violent behavior does not make happy. There must be also philosophical or already something going on, which the prophet only then pushed a little bit to the change. But they took the word and the prophet serious, changed, stopped violence, exploitation, and so on. This is what, at least is the book. But the book is a fiction. It's what theology. I'm thinking what Professor Andrew Long said, the Nineveh was maybe already gone at the time when it was composed. But this even more shows the theological impact of it's not about historical facts, it's about how we think, reflect about God and our relation with Him. This is the point. And do we listen, obey Him? And it seems the Ninevites did obey, according to the fiction, this book. What's in reality happened, we don't know. It's not a historical book. If we obey God, then your life was a life-giving. If we listen, Jesus is a culmination of listening to God. Yeah, he was perfectly obedient. He learned even obedience. We heard it in Philippians, or He learned obedience to the point of the cross. Also the result or the fulfillment is done in the cross. It's learning obedience to God's plan. Yeah. It's actually for everybody valid. But the other was a statement about, of course, the difficulty how to learn mercy in practical things, how to learn to forgive in a family or your hurt, how to learn to forgive. Huge topic. Personally, but family, but also a country historically, huge topic.
I ask maybe students, please don't be shy. We are happy that you are here. It's not easy. You have so many things to do. Would you, yeah?
Well,
Yeah.
after listening to the lecture, it is really interesting. So I'm wondering, as a young brother, or try to learn something that new about learning mercy. But nowadays, you can see that mercy, forgiveness, as said, and he tried to overwhelm the mercy and forgiveness. But how we apply to generation, and when they come to know that mercy is we can forgive, but it's not really hard, because we say that we forgive you, but we don't know for me, because I have experience of this, because I need to have that kind of mercy. The question is this: is the question, how do I kind of the mercy? Because I'm not really sure of the mercy. I mean, how do we overcome the mercy? That's my question. Thank you.
Maybe could you specify your question a bit more? So articulate your question a bit more. Yeah.
How to overcome? What?
Or you want to
overcome?
say overcome also the hatred? What is Professor Endo showing this overcoming hatred? Or can you specify your question a bit?
Oh, yeah. Now I profession my question. How do we search God's mercy?
How to search, how to see, how to discover. You mean
To search mercy, how to search mercy.
Search God's mercy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. The reading about life was like the bush. We have the bush here, yeah? The bush, to care for the animals. So when we care for life, for living beings, or for the violence in Nineveh, when it matters for us, this is the problem. Are we, or what for Fausto, about Gaza, the children in Gaza now? Of course, we can do little, maybe little, but maybe not. Maybe we can do a lot if we train, educate people. This has an impact on in other parts of the world. We are internationally connected. Education. Of course, the impact is maybe not tomorrow, the children in Gaza, but we have to think complex or more deeper. Jonah is a very deep book, a theological book, about how we think about God and human behavior, even Hosea also. So we should not underestimate the impact what we do positively, I think. Whatever we do, how we care. I think Pope Franz always mentions this, how we care, how we relate, what matters. Not to be indifferent would be a point of learning mercy, not to be indifferent to suffering, to little things, little animals, like the bees. Has a huge relevance for each and everyone, but we know very little how we are connected with each other. But thank you for the question. All answers are very good. How to search for God's mercy.
Yeah. Please. Yeah. Okay.
Hello. Maybe is it better this way?
Yes, yeah,
Okay. It's actually more
translation question you mentioned earlier, Father, and about the Chinese culture. For mercy, this word in Chinese is translated as 慈悲, 慈悲. Yeah, so it makes up of two words. 慈 is kind, kindness. 悲, this is the problematic one. 悲 means sadness or sorrow. So I just wonder, in Jonah, is there such an element of sorrowness or sadness in addition to merciful of God?
Yeah, Jonah is always sad, angry, sad.
Is it, yes,
Yeah.
is it the reason why this merciful translation in Chinese that make it this way?
I don't know.
Yes,
The
this
Chinese
question
maybe-
is for a Chinese
Yes.
professor.
Yes, shall we? That
Yes.
is the ball. Please
Yeah.
feel the challenge to
Thank you.
Professor Tsai or Professor Long. Please, what could you say linguistically on this? Yes, and also the how you distinguish from the Buddhist 慈悲. So yes, yeah, please, Thomas. Yeah.
The meaning of 慈悲 is, as far I can remember, if it's not wrong, 慈 means 慈与众生乐，悲把众生苦. It means 慈 means give the rejoice to people, and the 悲 means to liberate them from suffering. So this is the Buddhist Chinese Buddhist understanding of, we'll say, 慈悲, this word. But as whether it is correspondent to the Hebrew.
Yes, so it's time for me to also address the translation issue. I used to help translate sometimes for some church documents. I had this reluctance to translate mercy or merciful, being merciful into 慈悲. On the one hand, it has this Buddhist connotation sometimes. On the definitely culturally, well, many Chinese words were translations from Buddhism. Yes. On the other hand, it has this. If it has that association. It has that condescending character. You see, someone from on high, already reached the nirvana or what is looking down on the 芸芸众生. That sort of condescending. I tend to be reluctant, but just now, in fact, Father asked me to rethink, so I checked again. It seems because I'm no Buddhist, and I was not that familiar with the Buddhist traditions. I just take the Chinese characters as Chinese without knowledge of their Buddhist background that much. Now, after second thought, it seems it's quite a legitimate translation. Yes, 慈悲, in fact, especially after Father Franz leading us to read through again these passages. You see, 慈, in fact, in simple Chinese, without the Buddhist connotation, 慈 means the kindness that parents show to children. Yes, 慈. Bei is a bit more difficult. It means sadness, but it also means pain. Yes, pain. So I think that probably cuts into, yes, that saying, yeah, my heart recoils against me, this sort of idea. Of course, it's difficult to say because in Chinese, you see, bei, it's facing, yeah, two characters. So the negation of heart, but then the issue is whether that negation, this fei, is it just a signal for meaning or signal for sound? That is the Chinese semantic issue. Then if we take the characters as they are, there is, of course, we can still argue, there is this little bit condescending element like parents showing it to children, but at least it's quite close to the biblical sense. Like exactly in the book of Hosea, we have two metaphors playing together, trying to explore how to describe these divine human relationships. marriage, but also parent-children. That's exactly, of course, in chapter 11, it is this parent-children metaphor that is working. So I think somehow it's quite apt now after second thought. So probably it's already a conventional translation, 慈悲, but probably after refreshing the individual meanings of individual words, it's quite apt, the translation. My personal opinion.
Oh, thank you very much. And now I want to also give our online participants, if you just want to jump in, do that. Turn on your video and welcome to ask a question. Otherwise, we continue with our on-site participants. Yeah, please.
Just one comment about this terminology, because I think it would be interesting. I am not familiar with the original text. Father Gassner mentioned Jesus Sutras. These were actually the first ever documents translated, the documents that contain the Christian message with the help of Buddhist monks. The Nestorian monks translated, have written the sutras with the help of Buddhist monks. So that was the first terminology used at the time. Would be interesting, I don't know whether you are familiar or anybody, what we have in those texts, which are very rich actually, whether we have some kind of hints about this original usage already in the 7th century in Chinese context of the term mercy.
Yeah. I'm not familiar, but I know there is literature already about this. There's literature, the studies available. There's a question about mercy, not a comment.
Yeah.
Mercy means mercy, compassion. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a comment here. Karin, yeah. Thank you for this comment.
Any other reaction, comment?
In Greek, we have a sympathy, yeah. Syn means also to suffer with, to experience with. In Greek, maybe the translation was influenced back from Greek into Chinese. To suffer with, to paschal, sympathy with.
This is also the moment to share with you the good news. We have a serious dialogue with China, and the next volume, which is about to be published next week, is on corporate philanthropy in China and beyond. So as you know, with the Ricci Institute, one is of course the history, but now mercy and being merciful in business circles is really a huge issue, and especially convince these extremely rich young Chinese philanthropists to do something for the common good. So this book will come out just next week in World Scientific Press, and some of you are in the board of this series on dialogue with China. Now, I'm also, thanks again very much, Father Franz Gassner, for inspiring us, challenging us to reflect on this Lenten journey, a springtime. And now we had also would like to invite those who did not visit the library. We have our librarian, Miss Sophia So, would be now just be ready to show you the library, which has a tragic background. As you know, in 2017, all our Ricci library was destroyed. And the level of intellectual reasoning was, for me, also shown that apparently not many realized the tragic loss. So we did not get any support except from Hong Kong friends and the unexpected gift from Georgetown University. And otherwise, people did not realize it was the memory of Macau, which was lost. So that's just to show in which level, intellectual level, we are playing here, that you could imagine more help in this situation when 25,000 books were destroyed. But the good news is we have now a wonderful library here. And this is the moment, really, thanks. It's my Hong Kong friends who donated to this library. but especially also these friends from the United States, is the Woodstock Library and Georgetown Library. And you're welcome just before you enjoy the refreshments and challenge our learned colleagues to reflect more on these questions. Welcome to check out the library. Miss Sophia So is waiting for us. I would also very much thank Barry. They worked so hard, by the way, this week, also on another course. All this technical stuff, I think, went very well. And of course, we thank our online participants to draw that is mercy and compassion. That's the key word, what we wanted to share with you. Would you have any final word? Any final message?
Not tomorrow we have a visitor
Yes.
in the main campus at 9:30. He's 98 years old. He suffered under concentration camp. He was 15 years old. He's from Belarusia, Minsk. He will come tomorrow to our class if anybody's time.
Yes.
9:30. The church we show the documentation 1 hour of him done by Hong Kong man, and then his interview with him. He's 98 years old, soon 200 years old. He learns German. Yeah? He suffered under the Germans and in the work camp in a factory, and then was accused, was imprisoned. Luckily escaped death. Buchenwald is one of the 5 survivors of Buchenwald. And he's on campus tomorrow in Isla Verde, 9:30. 10:30 he will come.
Yes.
For anybody who's interested, you can come.
No, it's really, I would warmly welcome you. It's a unique chance. We were so happy. It's one of the few survivors. And I asked him when we met him in Hong Kong, how could he survive? You know, it's the worst what you can possibly experience. And he said when he was a boy, he was touched by the solidarity of the elder prisoners. So when the SS kind of hit them, they tried to protect the children. And so this kind of really deep experience of solidarity that kept him alive. So it's really very moving. He's so positive. And can you imagine, you learn German with 90 is an inspiration of us. We should learn Cantonese, of course. So not be so lazy. So on this, really, thank you very much. We are honored that you came and shared your insight, and especially give a last hand to our guru, Father Franz.
Yeah.
So,